What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a good night. As promised, we are going to dig into these translations of the Ultimania that came out for Final Fantasy VII Remake. The first one I want to tackle, and I want to get right into the chase. Not going to handle any business or anything at the start of the video here. You know the deal. Boom, right there. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos. You watch YouTube, you know how this works. Let's get into it. Sephiroth's appearance in Chapter 2. This is something I wanted to dive into. And these aren't going to be super long videos. I'm going to tackle each part of these. I'll try to keep them around 10 or 15 minutes. But we're going to talk about each subject and, kind of what we've been discussing on the channel for a while now, as far as like where part 2 is going to go and maybe what's going on. So Sephiroth's appearance in Chapter 2, the question was, the Sephiroth that appears in Chapter 2 and the Sephiroth we see in Chapter 18's Edge of Creation, both are trying to avoid the destruction of the planet, but are the two connected? Toriyama says that the Sephiroths that you see throughout the game are all different, whether he is an illusion that only Cloud sees or a vision that Sephiroth created of himself, a vision represented by the cloaked figures, or even Sephiroth himself. All of these stem from the will and consciousness of Sephiroth that is at play here. They all mention the same goals, but they all seem to be toying with Cloud's heart. Okay, so this is not time-traveling Sephiroth. This is not anything like that. It's all different versions of Sephiroth stemming from the same consciousness of Sephiroth. We've been talking about this. We've been saying this is where it's going. Not only myself here on this channel, but other people in the community as well. This is what we've been talking about. These are all different versions, incarnations of Sephiroth, all stemming from the same thing. Cloud's mental break. Well, what's going to become Cloud's mental break? Sephiroth being in Cloud's mind. That's who we see in Chapter 2. Of course, the cloaked figures, the test subjects, and then Sephiroth himself we see at the end of it. The test subjects in Genova, I lump that into kind of the same thing, that's the experimentation. I did the video last year, I think it was called The Three Faces of Sephiroth. Maybe I said 4. I think we've talked about live streams that there was like 4, if you count some other variables that happen. But he comes to Cloud, or he appears in 3 to 4 different ways. If you don't lump some things together, it's 4. If you do, it's 3. We've been saying this. This is all stemming from the same consciousness of Sephiroth. You see him at the end of it, the real Sephiroth at the end of it. Once you break him out of his prison, in the singularity, that's what that is there at the end. The planet holding him prisoner, and then you coming in and being tricked into breaking him out. That's the real deal Sephiroth there at the end. So, the second question says, when Sephiroth says, "These are our precious memories," it brings to mind the line where Cloud says in Advent Children, "Stay where they're my memories." What exactly is the meaning behind this? Toriyama says, Sephiroth's physical body is dead, killed by the hands of Cloud himself. But even so, he is a part of Cloud's memories. For Sephiroth, Cloud is one of the few people who he thinks understands him and can serve as either a comrade or an old rival, but he wants to keep this strong connection with him. Because of that, he uses the word memories to refer to those thoughts. So I like that insight. The whole thing with the line from Advent Children, that could be a reference or a throwback, but I didn't think it really played. I don't think Advent Children played into that. I like what Toriyama said, though. He looks at Cloud as someone who understands him. Like, look, we may be enemies, we may be rivals, or we may be able to be comrades in the future, but win, lose, or draw, this dude understands me. I think that's really good level of storytelling. And that's something I thought about, but didn't really lean on too much. So for what I was thinking was that, he's going to need Cloud's body for something or whatever. I wasn't digging deeper mentally and thinking that, it's a way of him showing reverence for Cloud, which I like that a lot more, actually, because it adds a lot of meat to the Sephiroth character. Like, he does want someone to help shoulder the load. That's kind of how I take it. Like, he wants someone to understand him. He's not like blindly cutting through people like some omnipotent, all-knowing God and, just uncaring and unfeeling. That right there shows that Sephiroth is actually caring and feeling. Like, he has, not in like a weak sense, but in a very strong sense, in a very strong character sense. Like he wants that connection with somebody. I dig that. I think that's really cool. A lot of these things that they're talking about with the translations, there are numerous different layers to this one piece with Sephiroth. But what I take away from it and what I really enjoyed about it was the fact that they say, you know, look, Sephiroth, you know, he wants more. You know, he wants more than to just steamroll everybody and achieve a plan. He wants Cloud to understand. He feels like Cloud does understand where he's coming from. And with the illusions, you know, that's something we've been calling since I finished the game here on this channel. That, you know, all those different versions of Sephiroth, they're all stemming from the same consciousness. The version of Sephiroth you see at the end of the game, it's all stemming from his consciousness. That has been pretty cut and dry, in my opinion, for some time. The Cloud that the Sephiroth that only Cloud can see, really is part of what is stuck in Cloud's head from experimentation or experience or what have you. Cloud is stuck with that version of Sephiroth in his head, and Sephiroth always has this Bluetooth connection with Cloud, right? He's always going to be able to, his consciousness, his soul, whatever you want to call it. I like that. Let's say Sephiroth's soul, the soul of Sephiroth, roaming the earth, you know, or roaming Gaia. The spirit of Sephiroth can commune with Cloud through his mind and speak to him when he says, I want to see, you know, you want to get stronger, you will get stronger. And all this kind of stuff, man, that's the character stuff I really love that they do with Cloud and Sephiroth. And in the remake, that was one of the things I really loved, that they went in on 100% on remake. They were like, we're going to expound these characters. We're going to give more depth to these characters, and we're going to give you more to chew on with these characters. So I really dig that. Out of all the stuff that I've read and really dug into, that is one of the top things I've enjoyed, is the whole thing that, you know, Cloud and Sephiroth wanting Cloud to understand him. It feels like he does understand him in some way. I think that's really cool, and it gives more weight and more gravity to the scenes where Sephiroth comes to Cloud through his mind. I think that's very cool. There's a lot more to dig into in these. That was the first one. That's my take on that. Again, you know, it's a situation where, you know, pretty clear to me after finishing the game that those are all just different versions of Sephiroth stemming from the same consciousness. Like, it's the same Sephiroth coming in different forms, basically. But the part at the end where Toriyama says, well, you know, Sephiroth, you know, he realizes and knows that Cloud understands him, you know, in some way, whether they don't like each other or they do like each other. That I didn't consider that, and I really dig that. I really dig that. And it does kind of make me think about things with those two characters, their dynamic, and how the narrative will work between them in a different way moving forward. So, but anyway, more coming. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, throw some comments in there. And also, boom, consider becoming a Patreon YouTube member right up here. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Kaufman20XX. Have a great night. Be safe out there. Be good to each other. Keep rocking. And I will see you all in the next video.